all the hype and all the noise yesterday and today is about Chris Grayling the Bruiser, a reputation I think he partly earned in opposition as a sort of minister slayer and being really tough at bringing people down in scandals and so on. And yes, he talks tough on penal policy and law and order, and there are reported remarks on human rights that do not fill my heart with joy. However, a closer look shows a slightly more nuanced picture. He, in opposition as Shadow Home Secretary, wrote in The Guardian quite passionately against identity cards and against, perhaps even more importantly, blanket DNA retention. This is at a time when the Conservative Party was trying to recalibrate on civil liberties and Labour was still playing very, very hard to the right, scare stories about rapists roaming free if we didn't collect a mega database of innocent people's DNA. And if you look back at some of those Guardian columns, you will find statements there about fundamental values and the justice system. He spoke against the policy that's now the Snoopers Charter, originally mooted by Labour, now adopted by the coalition parties. Those words may come back to haunt him. Of course, he's not a lawyer. And again, this is a mixed blessing. On the one hand, there will be judges and there will be lawyers who will be very nervous about whether he is going to be prepared to stand up for justice when sitting opposite the forces of security represented by the Home Office across the cabinet table. There will be others who will say he will have to listen to the judges and to lawyers because he won't have forensic confidence. And sometimes, a little knowledge from a retired lawyer who's now a politician can be a dangerous thing. So, again, we'll have to see how he plays it. Does he play it as someone who's going to bash the law and bash the judges, or will he work extra hard to win their trust? Well, Ken Clarke has in many ways been a great friend of fundamental rights and freedoms in this country, even compared with lots of Labour politicians, let alone Liberal Democrats or fellow Conservatives. He was prepared to speak up for the Human Rights Act, for the European Convention on Human Rights, and defend the judiciary and the rule of law. That said, he did not help to protect legal aid. He helped to dismantle it, and he allowed himself, I'm afraid, to be the front man for the odious Justice and Security Bill. If this bill were to pass, open courts would be turned into secret commissions, the kind of processes that currently are limited to a small number of deportation cases and control order or TPIMS cases over terror suspects. What we're talking about is ordinary people bringing claims against the police or the security services or other parts of government because they've lost a loved one in mysterious circumstances or because they have been abused in some way, and journalists and the public not even knowing that this case is happening, and of course the loved ones having to sit outside the court door while government lawyers stitch up the case with a judge. That's what this secret courts bill is about. And it returns to the House of Lords for more scrutiny in October. Before that, we have conference season. Will the Lib Dems vote this policy down at their conference in September? Will Labour, that has begun to bring opposition to this bill, harden that opposition in the light of the reshuffle and in the run-up to the election? Of course, it's all about the economy, stupid. Of course, that is the greatest challenge facing the public. But a lot of core Lib Dem supporters and voters, and by the way, a lot of floating Labour and Lib Dem voters really care about civil liberties and would want to see the Lib Dems standing up now against the Snoopers Charter, against the Secret Justice Bill, being prouder of human rights. The question is, will the Lib Dem leadership do it?